My dearest child, my descendant, I am your father. You might know me as Adam. It brings me a joy that crosses the vastness of time and myth to speak to you now. I am a man, and with my soulmate, a moon, we were the first parents of all humanity. My dearest child, though millennia separate us, the love a father has for his child is a thread that is never broken, and I see you in your modern world as my own. I come to you now not as a distant figure from a myth, but as your ancestor, your father, wishing to share with you the story of our beginning, our joy, and our great sorrow, in the hope that it may bring light to your own path. When the Father of all first created us, we were perfect beings. We lived in a paradise he had given us, a place of such beauty and harmony that your mind can scarcely conceive of it. A moon and I were two parts of a whole, a male and a female designed to be a perfect one, yet each with our own individuality. The name given to us, Am, meant the exalted creation of God, with Aman for the male and Amun for the female. We were so happy in our love for each other and in our perfect harmony with the Father's laws. You must understand, my child, that we were created in the Father's image, but not of his substance. Our souls were a perfect likeness of his great soul, but we did not possess his divine essence, his divine love. Yet the most wonderful gift bestowed upon us was the potentiality to receive that very substance. A privilege was given to us. If we remained obedient and followed the path the Father laid out, his own divine love would flow into our souls, transforming us from his perfect creations into divine angels, making us like him not just in image, but in very essence. This would have granted us immortality, a true oneness with him. But oh, my child, the sorrow of our fall is a heavy memory even now. In our perfection, we were also given the great and wondrous gift of free will. A moon and I, in our happiness and our belief in our own power and wisdom, grew ambitious. We began to believe we did not need to wait for the Father to bestow his divine love upon us in his own time and way. We desired not only his immortality, but his power and wisdom, thinking we could become his equals. The story you may have heard of an apple and a serpent is but a symbol. Our temptation was not a fruit, but an overwhelming desire to obtain this divine substance before we were fit to receive it, and by our own means rather than the Father's. Together, Amun and I discussed this ambition, and as one, we decided to act upon it. In that moment of disobedience, in trying to seize what could only be given as a gift, we violated the great laws of our being. The consequence was immediate and devastating. The scales, as you might say, fell from our eyes, and we saw how naked and powerless we truly were. We were not driven from our paradise by an angry God. Rather, the inexorable laws of our own creation showed us that the potentiality to receive the divine love was gone. We had forfeited the privilege. That, my child, was the great fall of humanity. From that moment, we became mere mortals. The spiritual nature that had sustained us became subjected to our physical appetites. We were no longer satisfied by spiritual sustenance alone, and had to turn to the earth for our food, to work, and till the soil to survive. The perfect harmony was broken. Aman and I were the only human beings on earth at our creation. It was our own children, your ancestors, who populated the world. We lived for many thousands of years before the one you know as Jesus ever came to the earth. But please, hear this with all your heart. Though we lost that great privilege, the Father in his infinite mercy and love did not forsake humanity. For millennia, we and our descendants lived with only our natural love, and I suffered much for our sin. Then, the Father, in his own time, rebestowed the privilege of obtaining this divine love upon all mankind. Jesus, the Master, was the one chosen to come to earth and announce this wondrous news, to show all people the way back to the Father's heart and the path to true immortality. I tell you this story, my dear descendant, because I am now a follower of this same Jesus, a lover of the Father, and I live in the celestial heavens, having received that very divine love that I once forfeited. The mercy of the Father is so vast that even we, who brought such sorrow into the world, were allowed to find our way home to Him. The path is open to you now, a privilege that was lost to so many generations. Do not be content with merely purifying your natural love, which is a noble goal, but will only make you the perfect human we once were. Seek the greater gift. Seek the divine love of the Father through earnest, sincere prayer and longing from your soul. It is this love, and this alone, that will transform you into a divine angel at one with the Father, and grant you the certainty of eternal life in His celestial kingdom. I love you as my own child, and I long for the day when you too will find this glorious truth, and we can be together in the Father's kingdom of light. Your Father, Aman.